Go.
Wait, you're not Trex?
I'm not Trex, man. Trex is on rest. He's getting some rest because he's going to be back on desk with us later. But yeah, welcome to the desk here, the English desk for MWI here at EWC. It's me, Naisu, and Mirko bringing the action to round out the group here. Group C, and like we had it broken down, of course, from Renmar and the Fell, this could imply a possible tiebreaker later on, depending how this series goes. But, you know, Mirko, you've seen this now, the past two matches. Who do you think has the better draft here?
Oh, man, it's really tough to say that, but honestly, I'll have to go with Victory Song Gamers. I feel like, especially with the Benedetta, Kyoe was able to perform so well, Kaylee as well, and you can see the mid prior already. Look at how they're utilizing this mid lane. Actually not going to go for the shove, but actually utilizing the shove from Zino Lilies against Zino Lilies to try to go and poke them out. But unfortunately, didn't really go too well for them there. They get chunked a bit, but I do want to give a shout out, by the way, to LaFell. I agree. Karutu Arutaru sounds better than Netherrealm. I agree.
Hey, you know what? Either way, I feel like some people, you know, Netherrealm, Colt Altar, whatever you want to go with, too. Oh, hold on. Actually, good poke for Taro here. One thing, too, it is almost a throwback, man. Looking at this lineup that we're seeing here, it's a throwback to, what do you say, Season 10? I think it was like around that time. It's been a while since we've seen this, and yeah, I've been so stuck on the fact that when we saw Marches picked up, put in the mid lane, it was such a good answer to things, you forget that, all right, originally you see Marches so much in the jungle. Now, matching up, let's talk about the matchup because, like we said, Kyoe on this Benedetta jungle had a massive performance already. I think she got even more fans than she already has. How does that matchup work against the Marches jungle?
I don't know. It really comes down to, I would say it's just execution, right? Because when it comes to clearing, this has been the biggest issue with a lot of the jungle matchups, right? Because pathing is so important. Yeah. Clear speed is so important. Benedetta, my main concern when Kyoe picked Benedetta in their first game was how is it going to perform up against Julian? That was the matchup before. And she did amazing. She was actually clearing the jungle way faster. So the Martis also really good at clearing. I feel like they are kind of on the same boat in that department. Both of them also have anti-CC. Eye for an eye. There's a Mortal Coil there. Yep. And you can see both of them level 5. So Kyoe actually still ahead. So maybe because of the gank towards the bottom lane, able to pick up that gold crab, getting a bit more gold, getting a bit more damage. It seems for the setup. Earth Shatter, Gaily to the poke count down. Ramichi on it as well now. Both of them trying to dance around the turtle.
Still very kind of testing the waters here. Also, Manon has the Black Dragon form, can use that, but they're going to go in actually now.
The penalty zone now, Kyoe able to dash out to safety. Kao still in the midst of it all. Gaily popping a Primal Rat, deal some damage. That's Ramichi winning on the retreat battle. Good disengage with the final blow. Ramichi, one Decimate, looking for another now with a Mortal Coil, two. Shiromi with the sustained synchro, going to be caught. Flickers out to safety, but gets tied up as Kao finds the kill. Saw in the mid lane, able to dash out. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Blazing Duet, Taro winning on the trade, but Rian will still be able to survive.
Zino Lilies just got everything on that whole exchange, and they might still go for another kill here on the bottom side, but man, talk about the power of this Angela pick and how it fits so well into the lineup that Zino Lilies brought to the table. You saw how strong that hard guard can be. Even the focusing mark, you know, that's a little extra boost. That's 6% that helps with that. And, you know, that poke potential was already very impressive with what they had in the fight. You add that to the table, and it works wonders here. Eyes is still set on this bottom side, though.
Ramichi with the retreat. Good flicker out from Rian. Really just respecting that. Mortal Coil used up. She has the stacks. Does a bit of damage onto the turret. Kyoe, low. Final blow to the front. Gotta be careful. She does use the eye for an eye, but it's a bit different here when you don't have a Petrify up top. Kao swinging the hammer down. Almost getting the kill on Minin, who's still very comfortable in that lane. Just pops regen, acts as if nothing happened.
This is interesting too. I can't recall the previous game that we saw with the Yu Zhang pick, but this is a Warcry Yu Zhang. And you know, because typically I would say, what do we see the most of? Quantum Charge Yu Zhang?
Yeah.
I think that's the kind of default that we see. So I'm wondering if this will be, this little boost of damage is going to be big of that much of a threat, because if you look at the lineup here from VSG, they're all about damage. You know, for the most part, it's like your main tank for this is obviously Gaily here on the Edith. But once that Primal Wrath is used, it's like, all right, now we have an Eternal Guard being the front line. You know, and that's kind of all we have. So I'm wondering, again, with the Yu Zhang, maybe a little bit, you lose some of that sustainability, some of that movement speed you can work with. So you're really trying to overload the damage when it comes to these fights. But it looks like, hey, they're just going to give up the objective. You know, they don't want to fall further behind than they already are, as Ramichi gets the turtle.
Clean, and this is usually why the Martis is used up in the jungle. You clear really fast, you have an amazing, I would say, early game skirmish power that you can utilize to force a lot of these team fights, and the execute obviously makes it as though you already have a Sky Piercer from level 4 onwards, right? It's even crazier. It's like a Sky Piercer plus a great Dragon Spear in a way, because you get that movement speed, you get so much more pressure, and I love the fact that she has gone for the Hunter Strike. Usually on the Martis, this is kind of the gamble you play when you play the Martis. In the early game, you win out the fight, you go for Hunter Strike. You lose out the fight, you go for a more defensive build, and luckily for Zino, they got the fight in their way in the first, turtle, and they are able to just snowball off of that.
Just build up from that point, and at the same time, it's kind of like, if you're looking at VSG and you guys watched their matches earlier, they can still obviously get a lead in this game. It's still early on, but it's more so of like, where do we find the pickoffs here? That's where you start to have to utilize the Yu Zhong pick that's brought to the table. Gaily has to land those combinations that we see these Ediths do all the time. And then even to round it out, I mean, for the most part, Beatrix, we haven't seen her too often. She's still a great pick, I would say, for most gold laners, but it's almost in a sense where you see so much Claude's picked up, the Harith's picked up, that Beatrix has been slept on a little bit. So I think for even for Rian, you want to have that gold lane experience. Farm up, get the items that you need, lock those in, and then contribute to these fights. So I think for VSG too, that might be where we see them again, just give up an objective, give up the next turtle even. But look at this, Ramichi goes up top. It's a flicker.
It's always a flicker, the response to any sort of gank, and that's why the Beatrix is so vulnerable.
Yeah.
And, I'll take your point there. It's very tough. As a gold lane player myself, this is why I personally don't like the Beatrix pick. Even in MSC, when it's picked up, not a fan of it, because especially up against the Claude, there's so many more ways for the Claude to outplay you.
Yeah. But like at some point, you get that spike, you try to turn the tide. They're on the fight for the turtle, though.
Penalty zone. Oh, Ramichi again winning it out now with a good Petrify down. Eternal Guard connecting on a count, still able to flicker out to safety. The final blow does some damage, but Kyoe is going to be caught by Taro, who slows her down for the Decimate. Gaily, Primal Rather, a turret, another Decimate. Ramichi finds it again. Might be looking for more. Oh, he finds the Maniac. Ramichi times under tier 2.
Oh, Pro, man, again, when you saw this Martis picked up, this might not be what we expected, because for so long now we've seen Martis in the mid, but this is what you have to remember. The Decimate is such a big threat. The resets after reset. And this is, yes, it's so fitting. It's the Levi Ackerman.
Boom.
Boom, the triple, and goes in. And you know what? Why not take the Maniac? Worth.
I don't know. It's worth. It definitely is worth when we're talking about the numbers here, right? Because that's for one, technically. They also got the neutral objective, but that's a big shutdown. That's a massive shutdown. 5-0 she was for getting shut down, and that gold is going to go. I think if it went to Rian, then we would be a bit more concerned. But even to Synchro, that's actually going to help her quite a bit. She was way more behind than only 1,000 compared to Sa.
She's still down, 1,000 gold here, but yeah, that is going to help out a little bit. Still working on that second item too. You also saw, at least now Gaily's a little bit more tanky. She's got Dominance Ice working on the next, but that's also a Thunder Belt picked up now for Kyoe. So she has a little bit more, and I feel like this is, in a way, it's like you're forced to now stick together. That's kind of the game plan because of, how do you deal with the sustainability with the Angela? Because still going to be used.
Good reaction. Oh, the onward, just a pixel away from hitting. Taro gets out.
Yeah, look at that, hovering over too with the hard card. So they're like, nope, I got it. They just give the signal, she's fine. They put pressure on top. So now look what the play is here from Zino Lilies. Go put pressure on top, do that. Wings are also now picked up by Cow. Even more tanky is this Terizla to help even to work in conjunction with the Body of Smith passive. So they'll go ahead and start with the Lord here. Again, for VSG, they're still, I don't know, it doesn't look good if they force a fight in this first objective. I'd honestly like to see them just go ahead and be a little more defensive and then just farm up a little bit longer, because even so, Zino Lilies, with the lineup that they have, very strong in this portion of the map. You're going to see that too. They're going to play around the Netherrealm that they have. They'll start it up still very slowly here, working on it. Going to spot out Kyoei as well, pushing her back. Ramichi, very confident once again on this Martiz pick, but still neither team committing just yet as they kind of feel out the territory here. But eventually, Zino Lilies will go ahead and play around the fact that they have some macro advantage to this. They've got 3 turrets to VSG's none. And so they can go ahead and take their time with this. But so far, respect. Cow.
Penalty zone. Gailey goes over to Onward. Now Eternal Guard in the midst of it all as well. Good Netherrealm to actually dish out a little bit more damage. Ramichi finding Gailey in the back line, now diving as well with the help of the Hard Guard. Eternal Guard almost getting rid of Cow. The glowing wand proc as well. Not enough as Kyoei is taking down Rian. Getting shot down. Doesn't go for the Renner just yet. Meanwhile,
I think they can hold them off. Possibly if they work through this, it's a quarter of the health here. They're going to have to do something unless they just watch this play out. Renner's going to be used. She's going to find a target.
Finding Ramichi, but she still finds a retry into the Decimate. Minion going to be caught despite getting a good Furious dive. That's why the anti-CC, the Mortal Coil of the Martis is so annoying to deal with.
Just a massive game here from Ramichi. 7-1 now. Even if she was shut down earlier, you know, now you can see it too. She's going for, she picked up that Hunter Strike early on, and this is what I liked about the Martiz. The build is very flexible. It's very adaptable. She is now going that tanky, because now she is, I mean, even with the Heart Guard, or without the Heart Guard, her alone is tanky enough as a frontliner, and the Mortal Coil, the way that it works, it's kind of finicky. You know, you really, it's almost a feint in a way to deal with that. But look at this damage.
Wow,
the damage dealt here. This is still, it's crazy to see Faramis still do this kind of damage.
I guess because for the most part, VSG, this is something that I think Zino Lilies did a great, read on VSG in their game against Team Falcons, because VSG, they are known to go for these big team fights where they clump up together.
Yeah.
And that's why the Faramis is finding so much value. Every single time VSG look for that combo, they're the ones to get punished by the Netherrealm extending the HP bars of every single member, and obviously the Ghost Bursters that finds a lot of value when you are clumped up.
Now they're going to have to deal with this Lord push, top side, try to hold on to these base turrets the best they can. It is only the first Lord, so they'll make quick work of it. They get poked, though, still under the base turret. They'll see for Zino Lilies if they can actually put some pressure more. They still got a tier 2 on the bottom side to work on too, so they'll go ahead and send down Taro to clear and push that wave in. Surprisingly too, they hold on to that tier 1 still, even at this point in the game, with VSG only having that 1 turret. So really, even looking at the items here, as things kind of fall into place, it's still up in the air. You know, where are you going to find that initiation, that frontliner? Because right now in this game, Kyoei can't do it.
No.
You know, she shined earlier when we saw her play the Benedetta because of the lineups that they had at the time, the way that they were able to move around the map and play front side. But at this point, you're a Benedetta where it's like you just got to kind of wait for your moment. And it's the opposite for Ramichi. Ramichi on a Martiz can just kind of, you know, swing around the way that Mortal Kombat, that's the sound that Mortal Kombat has for me, you know, and it's like, you can
specific skin.
Yeah, sorry, the specific skin. If only, you know, Levi was flying around too, but unfortunately that doesn't happen. So buffs are going to be choked out, of course, but really this is the downtime until this next Lord. And I don't know, Miracle, I think even now, VSG isn't really capable, unless somehow they get a setup of a lifetime to go ahead and contest this next objective.
It's really hard to, I mean, like, say what VSG really need to do, because technically the easy way would be, yeah, bait out some of these resources, but it's way easier said than done. You need to bait out Netherrealm, you need to bait out the Hard Guard, and while you're trying to go back and forth, there's a Martis chasing you down. There's Taro, who can constantly put down some utility with the slows from the corrosion side as well. So it's really hard for you to even kite back. It's way easier said than done, and even then, I don't know. It almost feels like this is why. Oh, Kaylee! Goes over to Onward, doesn't find it, gets the Earth Shatter, but Sai just walks out of the Bennett's rage. And now they've used all the resources. Oh, Shiromi! Unable to survive right there. Good final blow to the back line. Trying to zone them away. With Shiromi taken down.
But that was everything. They used everything for that just to get Shiromi. So, you know, Zino Lilies, they know. They have this information, and even down a member, they might just kind of poke, get the information they need, and start up this Lord here. Kyoei does pick up a Malefic Roar at this point, and you can see Lord is hurting, right? You can't just sit there and tank it. So they might even have to wait for the Netherrealm to be back up. even down a member, but as soon as Shiromi gets close, you know, she can just hard guard into the fight if she wants to. Still respecting the damage here too. You know, interesting maneuvers earlier from Gailey as well. Yeah. Utilizing that flicker, goes in again. Trying to get that out. Not gonna happen though. Eternal Guard drops though too. You can see hard guard being held on top here for Taro. This might be the time. I mean, they're very disciplined, very taking their time with this. Actually, they still don't want to commit to it.
Yeah, I don't think they need to commit to it. Again, knowing how much the Lord hurts now in this patch, I think we saw Zino Lilies actually do that against Team Falcon's Mena earlier. They try to go for the Lord dance. The Lord new passive kicks in. They start getting melted down by the Lord, and then they lose the fight. So obviously for Zino Lilies, we definitely want to utilize the advantage they have in the side lane. They have an Angela that's going to be constantly pushing these waves towards VSG. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it's just really tough. They were able to bait out Sauce Purify, though. So that's already a really good setup for Gailey. So perhaps go for something. Conceal, onward, Earth Shatter, into the Terrify, into the Eternal Guard. The combo is massive, but Sa comes in with another roll. Mortal Coil from Ramichi. Gailey gonna be taken down. No, just Immortality. Kao losing her life. Now Kyoe jumping in the midst of it all. Good knockup from the Lord. Rian guns her down. Taro with a crown. Straight into the nature over Rian. Looking for some damage. Taro able to use the BMI backwards. Rian going for the chase down. Trying to look for the read as to where they are. Ramichi.
Oh, they're gonna find her?
Goes for it now with the Mortal Coil 2. Doesn't want to go for the Decimate. Sa comes back up. Almost gets rid of Rian and Minim. But now 5 and 11. VSG, they found a way.
They found a way. That's what I was going to say. You know, I was like, man, I don't know if they can contest it, but hey, they actually just played the tune that Zino Lilies set. They didn't commit to the Lord just yet. They were waiting earlier before that whole fight broke out. They used all their ultimates. They waited for them to be back online. And then, in a very similar fashion, they started the fight up after Zino Lilies started the Lord and end up winning. And that's also just because the positioning of Rian was on point here. And again, this is where, you know, Beatrix, she takes a while to get to this point. She's got 4 items now, make it 5, just gets the Blade of Hephaestus, has that, picked up the Wind of Nature earlier. Oh, and they're actually gonna go run it down mid a little bit further.
Black Dragon form, great zoning, just to enable the charge to happen from the Lord. Mortal Coil gonna be used up. Gailey forced to use the Primal Wrath bottom lane, though. This is why the Benedetta gets a lot of value when you are ahead, when you have the proactive maneuvers. No Purify to Terrify connects onto Sa. She actually already has a Purify, and that's some crazy patience to have. Yeah. Knowing that everybody could collapse, Sa still holds onto the Purify, which is great for her.
Hey man, I would say, you know, this is that extra inning that VSG needed in this game. They waited, you know, quite some time. They were down quite a bit. They had some pretty bad team fights earlier on in the game. But through their discipline, they've managed to get this point, which is essentially it's even now. Like, it's an even ball game. They've got the items that they needed. They're locked in now. And so all that does, yeah, they got some turrets that they desperately needed to be able to move around the map. But really what that does is allow them to be on even footing for the next Lord, which is usually most likely going to be a game-winning Lord, depending on how both teams kind of play that out. Also an Immortality being picked up. A couple more defensive items here locked in too, because again, Kyoe also has to be, you know, it's different in the sense of when you are this Benedetta, you have to be very careful in your placements or how you enter those objective dance-offs. And with this, all she has to do for now is push these side lanes, you know, and you're going to see them respond. Oh, top side.
DPZ, flicker backwards too.
Hard card.
Hard card was used up in the bottom lane. That's a 1v1. Ramichi versus Kyoe, who still has the Immortality. Can actually look for it. Let's see how this 1v1 goes. Good eye for an eye. Another dash, perhaps. Ramichi knows that there will be a lot of ways for Kyoe to outplay. Good Stampede. Kyoe very low, still wants to go for the purple buff. Will try to go for the steal.
Wow.
Seems like she will be able to secure it. Ramichi got terrified. Yeah. Great timing for Synchro.
She got that, and she'll have to go ahead and heal up, of course, but they're going to hold down this the space, of course, around the Lord here. And once again, they're going to find themselves dancing it out. You know, it's not often that we see this anymore. It's not often that we see teams really kind of take this a little bit slowly, and they still have to be mindful of the fact that, yeah, Lord, especially with this one, 20 minutes in, it's going to hurt. Conceal going to be used, though.
Good Stampede, Gailey. Waiting for the Onward. Doesn't find Onward, but does get the Earth Shatter. Ramichi already using the Mortal Coil earlier, waiting for that cooldown for the anti-CC to be back. Zino Lily is doing a good job with the sustain. This is the Angela's value. Long team fights, keep on poking, because we can keep on healing.
And they still go ahead and dance this one off. Heartguard just hovering over Romichi. Gailey, though, already using that Primal Wrath, so she's not going to have that just yet. They've got the information for Zino Lilies, so they'll go ahead and start this up. Not sure if they can fully commit to it yet because of the immortalities. I mean, we're looking at, what, 3 immortalities for VSG. But still Saw also holding down that front side. The poke is there. Look at the damage from this Paramis. It's 100,000.
Oh, there you go again.
And that's why a lot of it is just going ahead and using those bursters to the potential that they're meant for. And, you know, they always talk about the power of having a Netherrealm. Well, talk about the power of poke as well. Even the build that she went here is why it's working so well. And she can still play around the fact that she has the Purify. So, you know, wave management, this is where you also have to take that in consideration. You have a big wave up top as well for Zino Lilies. And this is something, like I said, that you don't see teams have to do too often. So this is where you have to see the macro level. Conceal, once again, from Gailey.
Good onward into the Earth Shatter. Petrify Furious Dive. No Eternal Guard just yet. Immortality can be used up. Eternal Guard placed down. Netherrealm coming down as well. Cal finds penalty zone into the backline. No Kiyoe with the final blow. Able to escape now. Gailey with the Primal Wrath. Use some damage to Taro. Gets rid of the HP. Marsa gets rid of Rian with the Ghost Bursters. Gailey forced to flicker out. Saw chasing her down. And again, she's able to just go with the Stampede to take her out. Synchro. Tied up. Good maneuvers by Minion. A good Terrify down too. As Sao will be zoned back. But it's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Zino Lilies. Taro looking to get that value from it. Will still have to jump back to the BMI placed behind.
Okay, and that's exactly what they needed there. Zino Lilies will go ahead and take this Lord, start it up. They can't probably just go for it because Kiyoe is just around the corner. She might be able to go ahead and threat them off from fully committing to it, trying to buy 30 seconds or so for the whole team to be back up for this. The rest of the team's going to have to support her in this whole decision. Once again, this Lord is quite beefy and tanky. Minun also has an immortality, and they can't commit to it. So that is exactly what VSG wanted, and they'll get it. So they're going to find themselves once again at that situation where it's a dance-off. You can already see 2 items are fully locked in. Start locking in the potions next.
It's another stalemate, technically, because really, if we take a look at the items even, I mean, they're literally just swapping items back and forth at this point. No boots for Rian. She's going to go for the Rose Gold Meteor instead, but the main problem is, I think, where Victory Song gamers find an advantage, Zino Lilies can use another advantage, right? Zino Lilies, the sustain has been helping them so much in these skirmishes. Every single time, you know, VSG win out on the poke battle, they get healed back up. Meanwhile, for VSG, they don't have the same sustain. But what they do have is good wave clear, good side pressure.
Yeah.
Every time they do that, Angela's there too. So you got the healing to counter the poke coming in from VSG. Got the Angela to counter in the side lane pressure coming in from VSG. And it's the same. Every single time Zino wants to initiate, there's a lot of good in disengage tools from VSG too. It almost seems like it's a stalemate. They're going to have to find a way where they team fight and they need to get 3 or more members. Even then, it'll be tough.
It'll be tough, you know.
It's an evolved Lord.
It is, and in the meantime, they can have a break. They can have a Kit Kat while they figure this out to prep up for this. Because, yeah, man, it's not often. I mean, even back when we were watching the games and going through the games of MSC, like, it's not often that you see these games get to this point where they're, you know, 20+ minutes in. And also, the unique part of this is the lineup that they have. Very interesting lineups that they're both playing around that you already kind of hinted at the strengths of them. And I think that's why I was saying, you know, especially your sustainability is going to help you a lot here, but really either team can put pressure on the side lanes. And part of that has to do with, like, if you can play around putting pressure on the side lanes, and that means even an Angela. Like, an Angela is almost enough to just go ahead and manage the wave, push it in. And the same can be said, like, on the other side. Like, who do you send if you're VSG? Typically, when you used to see Benedetto so much in the XP lane, it's like, well, just send the Benedetta. But right now, she's the jungler, right? You need her in that pit to deal with. So I think part of this, for VSG especially, is winning this Lord fight. And that's so much easier said than done, because who is going to tank that Lord? Who is going to get that? Who is going to tank it? And then who is also going to be able to set for the team? And I think that's why, once again, I have to see this Yuzhong pick play that role. You need to be able to get the setup that you're looking for, multiple targets if you can. And part of that is just getting through the fact that there is a lot of sustainability. NetherRealm alone. But like I said, Beatrix, it's her time to literally shine. She's got no boots. She got rid of the boots. She's like, I'm going to pick up another item, and we're going to make it work. And also, last time that she swapped it out for was it Rose Gold? I think it was Rose Gold. Last one
Rose
she
Gold
got.
was the last one.
Yep. So, you know, a little more defense because, man, you saw the damage, the poke damage that Sa's been doing here. And that's part of it. Really, if they somehow can get rid of Sa, I think VSG will have the fight. They'll have the game most likely too. But then you have to take into account the stacks, like how many stacks does she has, because I'm not sure.
Like, respawn.
So if you take her out and she instantly respawns, you got to do it again, you know? So a lot here on the table, I think, for both teams and how they want to execute it.
A lot of things to talk about, to think about for both these teams. But yeah, I think, I don't know, it's a give and take with the Beatrix. Obviously, you're at your peak currently in this game, going 22 minutes.
Yeah.
You have all your items, but when you sell your boots, that's the double-edged sword that you're kind of already playing with. The fact that you will have more sustainability, but you won't have enough mobility. For Beatrix, mobility is crucial, right? You need to always be able to space yourself out, and that's why you go for QC. That's why you go for Flicker. You can only go for Flicker. You don't go for Purify. But now with no boots, it's going to be so easy for Sa, for Taro even, and honestly, even Romichi. If she gets a Decimate, if she gets that
you ain't running away.
You ain't running away, especially with no boots.
How do you outrun a Levi Ackerman?
I don't know.
No boots.
A Levi Ackerman that can spawn swords from the ground.
That's true. That's true. I mean, even like already with that part of two is like you're talking about the matchup between Beatrix and Claude. Like Claude already has the advantage
exactly
for the BMI, you know, and then you take away the boots. And so part of that is just like you're really relying also on the fact that you're going to have to rely on your team possibly to peel for you. If that's the Eternal Guard, that might be the case too. And we're back into the game here again for this crucial Lord take.
Mortality.
Most likely the game-defining Lord for either of the teams that's able to get it. Yeah, there's still multiple immortalities available here for VSG. Now on the other side too, same thing with Zino Lilies. And once again, yeah, the gold difference at this point, you know, it doesn't really matter, but they're all farmed up, even Playground like we talked about before.
Winter Crown back again, this time for Taro, so she will swap that immortality for, and this is why, by the way, the Claude is just so much better when it comes to these item swaps, because, hold up, Mortal Coil, used up, Kaylee, able still to find Onward and the Earth Shatter down on the cow, but now they bait out the NetherRealm. That might be it, that might be their win con right now. As they go in, good Mortal Coil, Winter Crown of the Blazing Duet, Rion forced back, using Winter Nature and Immortality still there, Kiowe, finding good for Eye for an Eye as Minun is going to be caught, is able to get the defensive Fury's Dive on Sa with a chase and finds the kill. Minun going to fall, the sustain still too much for VSG to handle.
It's too much. Look at the nice push up top though. But that is most likely just going to be the Lord taken. I mean, you already talked about this in when we had that little break. The sustainability is too much. I mean, interesting the way that Winter Crown's been played in the hands of Taro here, because she goes, she pops the Blazing Duet, and then she Winter Crowns. And she just sits there, and then eventually the Heart Guard comes through too. So you have to expend so much if you're VSG against this lineup from Zino Lilies. And that massive damage, once again, you're taking a look at 142,000 locked in here. And it's funny, because there's the Sea Albert. Yep, Giveaway's like, you know what? Sustainability, we need some more to deal with this. So she picks up the Sea Halberd, but it might be too late. Lord in the mid lane. This is a strong one, possibly ending game here. But they'll go ahead and push in. Let's see if they can defend.
It's evolved. Bottom lane, Kiowe trying to deal with Taro, but she's still going to be able to just siege that down. Kaylee, onward, Earth Shadow, Romichi still able to survive now. Pops into Mortal Coil, Eternal Guard, baited out. Penalty zone coming down, not able to connect onto anyone. Kiowe with a final blow into the midst of it all right now, still able to get out. Petrify and Furious Dive, connecting on a cow. Meanwhile, Gailey with the Primal Rat won't be able to stay sustainable. Has the Immortality pop, Sa again. Finding the Mega Kill, Synchro. Getting the Terrified down, glowing one tick onto Cow is burning her down, but she's still able to survive. Synchro getting the Ghost Bursters down to glowing one, but she gets the healing. Now Eye for an Eye. Kiowe still able to run away. Romichi with the help of the Hard Guard goes into the base vicinity, looking for the damage. Rion gun Sa down, picking up a shutdown. Now as a Black Dragon form charges into the midst of it all once again. Taro has the immortality. That's Min, and no Petrify to be used up just yet as the Blazing Duel will come through. Eye for a 9, the Thunderbelt proc coming down as the final blow will be used up by KioWay. Ramichi disengages for the team, but 3 base turrets have been taken down.
Hey, VSG, they stay in the game. I would say what a successful defense against, you know, it's not often that you see that Lord, that push, what is it, the third one, being able to defend here. And as you take a look at the STC replay, this is, you know, I thought it would almost end, but they cleared out the minions enough to keep that one Canyon minion just outside of the range and able to work around it. So VSG, they've bought themselves time in this game. Again, we're going to see some item swapping going on. Earlier, we saw 2 winner crowns picked up for VSG. And even then, you know, also switched in for Zino Lilies now that Cal picks one up as well. So given how that whole situation went, I mean, Zino Lilies couldn't cap out the game just yet. They're going to go back. I mean, it's going to be exactly what we saw previously, where it all comes down to the next Lord dance. I mean, we're talking 3 Lords we've gone through. This is rare, I would say. You know, we don't often, like I said, we don't often see the Lords get to this point. So all that means too is once that 4th one comes up at nearly the, we'll be close to the 27-minute mark or the 28-minute mark, this is going to be even more crucial on how they approach the fight. Juggling the items even, if you will, is going to play a big part of it because, as you see, Rion earlier had the immortality, doesn't have it now. Might switch for it later once that cooldown does come available. But I'm not sure if it will for the fight. So far, they're going to kind of just wait things out. You can already see that territory established here for Zino Lilies. And maybe this is a time to make a cheeky play from VSG. You can see them already kind of setting things up here. Multiple times we've seen Gailey use the conceal, try to set something up. And if that means just baiting out the Nether Realm, that could be a part of that. Because look at this. I mean, wow, look at the massive damage taken as well. This game is breaking numbers here, I'd say.
Absolutely it is, man. This is why the Terizla is just so much more valuable. This is why usually we always see the Terizla pick even more than the Yuzong, right?
Yeah.
Because even though Yuzong technically can make more plays happen, Terizla's just so consistent with it. And the Lord is also very consistent with that damage from Ichi. The thing is, for Zino Lilies, they can afford to have their jungler, their frontliner, to take that much damage. Shiromi's always just back there, sitting, waiting for the call. Hey, you want heals, brother? Just call me. Yeah.
At that point, too, you know,
Satu walks up.
I was gonna say, you can do that, and this is the Lord. Like if I envision a Lord, this would be the voice line that we heard earlier from LaFell. Yeah. You know,
sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 10.
Sometimes.
I like dancing.
This even with the sustainability they have, you can see that they still don't want to fully just kind of sit there. They are still going to respect the fact that VSG can pull something off, but one thing that VSG has to do that's tough for them is managing the waves. All 3 waves pushing into the base is an extra kind of chore that they have to take care of before they can actually do this. So they might... Oh, hold on. Gailey, though. Eternal Guard already going to be dropped.
And the armor and the shatter now, penalty zone, locking them down. Is Daki Vitaro again, jumping to the back line, able to get minions so low. Meanwhile, KioWay isolated in the back, all alone. That's the jungler, and it's an amazing execution from Zino Lilies.
70 seconds. That is a long death timer for KioWay. It looked like, you know, they wanted to start a fight. They wanted to do something. Gale went in. They dropped the Eternal Guard. But ultimately, KioWay gets trapped in a position she doesn't want to be in. And that is Lord going to be taken by Ramichi.
The desperate attempt to go for the Lord. Ramichi just decimates through Gailey. And now with another member having to deal with a 70-second death timer. An evolved Lord. 2 members down. Only Synchro Rion. Technically no frontliners.
No frontliners here. Minona might be the only one. She doesn't have Dragon Form. Now she does. She has it available. They could try to buy as much time as possible, but even 50 seconds on Gailey, 30 away for KioWay. VSG is going to find themselves at a numbers disadvantage for this push. Lord makes its way down the mid. The pokes from Saw alone will send them back to the fountain to heal up. It's looking grim. It's looking dire. It's been 30 minutes, and Zino Lilies will go push it.
Even with the dragon, she's getting gunned down from the sky. Again with the Ghost Bursters. Good Petrify and the Furious Dive. They've done it so many times this game, but not anymore. That miraculous defense will come to a halt.
Whew. That was a long one. I think that so far that has to be our longest game.
30 minutes.
Yeah, 30 minutes. Just a little bit longer than the 30-minute mark there, but man, just great discipline. You know, that's an endurance test right there, but I know our analysts are going to have something to say about this too. Let's go ahead and throw it to them in the studio.
Over 160,000 gold split between the two. 30+ minutes, and the clincher of it all, no other way to put it, it's Saw, dude. It's that Faramis.
Saw, dude. I mean, like, the damage, the sustain, she will protect, but she will also attack.
Yeah, she protect, she attack, she got your back. The damage, everything brought out by the mid laner.
Here's the crazy thing. She dealt over 100,000 damage before completing the Holy Crystal.
That was before the Holy Crystal?
That was before the Holy Crystal.
Ooh.
After we saw that damage numbers, then she got the Holy Crystal. Now, looking at the team fights here, it's all about the sustain, man.
Yeah.
Like, this draft was like 2 years ago.
Yes.
And 2 years ago, the problem is, how are you going to kill them, right? And now with the addition of the Winter Crown as well, Taro can set up her Taro Tori.
Taro Tori?
Taro Tori. Like, she goes to the front, amazing duet. You can't come in,
I love that.
right? It's her Taro Tori.
It's their Taro Tori, and because of the Taro Toris they set up for their gold laner, the brunt of the damage just fell onto Gaily, onto Minun, even the Eternal Guard of the Vexana, and not enough damage. Just felt like the story. Way too much healing, and yes, you're right. Around 2 years ago is like the right amount of time frame. Our 4th World Championship around that era. VSG though, they handled as well as they could.
Yeah.
As well as they could.
Honestly, looking like if someone just look at the stats, 17 kills to 7, you wouldn't know how close this is. Saw almost did 200,000 damage. Wow. 199,000 damage. Now, we got to put this into perspective, right? 30 minutes, VSG, what they did was incredible. Honestly, their macro play, their decision making, especially around the Lord, they understand. Like, if you look at the fights here, it's all really for Zino Lilith. But the thing is, VSG understood. If they pick off one by one, more specifically Kyle gets out, they have a chance. They can control the Lord, and we can definitely see Zino Lilith sometimes having some hesitation around the Lord area, making it so that there's opportunities for VSG. With that being said, VSG, they learn from this game. Sustain is strong when it comes to Zino Lilith. The Faramis, the Angela. You take one component, maybe you can deal with it.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit more easier to deal with. And one of the things that I realized also as we were talking about that, mentioning the so-called hesitation that Zenith would show sometimes, is that with the Faramis and Angela, you've essentially canceled out what a Yu Zhong first pick and dished out. Yes, in the beginning, if ever you could get those pickoffs, but they didn't. As it gets to the mid to the late game, what we saw mostly was the Yu Zhong flying around in dragon form because Minun had no possibility of going down from dragon form, bringing down a Petrify full combo, because it wouldn't result in anything. It'll just be damage that'll eventually be healed through.
As impressive as the Yu Zhong is, getting it first pick, probably a little bit too ambitious. Where again, even the caster was talking about it, Terizla is higher rated now just because you can survive a little bit longer and your initiations is instant, right? It's very easy for you to initiate with the penalty zone. So again, I feel like with the draft that VSG got, which personally for me, not too big of a fan, it shows that they know how to play the macro game very, very well, and they know how to pilot themselves around the team fights. So if game number 2, they have a better lineup that has a more straightforward kind of gameplay, they could do well. But something that you do have to consider, they got to either ban out the Angela or just don't let the Angela Faramis combo come again.
Yeah, that sustain is a problem. And let's see if the sustain was the key. The PlayStation MVP for Zino Lilies, it is none other than Saw, dude.
Saw, dude. Again, 3 items, right? Yeah. Having the glowing one, Enchanted Talisman, and I believe it was the Lightning Truncheon. I believe those were the 3 first items.
First 3, yes.
Yeah, first 3 items. Already enough to do over 100,000 damage. And again, it's all about poking. It's about zoning them away, giving the Taro Tori to do what they want. Like, again, look at what Saw is doing. She's just going in front, making them low, making it so that they're hard to go back to their base. It's hard to reset.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you, wherein if you're Zino Lilies, you have to consider one or the other, the Angela or the Faramis. I am leaning a little bit more towards the Faramis now as the priority ban. Because again, one of the biggest things about Faramis, and let me know if you agree with this, that why he already had a good spot in the meta, and the spot got even better because suddenly he already have an item, a 2-in-1 item. Remember what happened? Necklace of Durance, merging with Glowing Wand, 2 effects into 1 item. It's a strong power spike for this Faramis.
And again, having a cult to altar.
The cult to altar.
Now it's Netherrealm, which is...
We know it's Netherrealm, yes.
Netherrealm. Cult to altar sounds better. But either way, what was that? Either way, honestly, for this one, it does seem like the... I would say power scaling for both teams, honestly quite equal, even though in terms of the kills, it doesn't really look like that. The kills is really about the draft.
Yeah.
Right? Because imagine this. You have to kill someone at least 3 times.
Yeah.
The Faramis, the Angela. I'm not even talking about the Winter Crown, the Immortality. Right? You have to kill them so many times.
Yeah, it's always such a long team fight that VSG needs to get through, which is why the Beatrix pickup for me, well, for both of us, it was perfect. Other than taking away the Netherrealm, it's just that if you are in a matchup with long team fights, you want the basic attacks of the Beatrix with Nibiru, because that's just constant damage coming out. But it got to the point where Sa and the other members of Zino Lilies looked like they didn't even care about the front line. They just did what they could to bring the Beatrix low as much as possible, just so that the Beatrix isn't there to help out the frontliners, which leaves the frontliners and even from time to time the Benedetta on Kiowa just helpless.
And if I remember correctly, I feel like Taro didn't die.
Oh no, death on Taro.
Yeah, so again, Taro on this Claude is a game changer, right? Especially when you have the Winter Crown. She becomes the engager. She goes in, sets up the Winter Crown, makes a circle that no one can really get into. And then sometimes that's all the team needs, just a little bit more space for Sa to deal the damage. So in a way, Taro with the Winter Crown almost playing the role of an EXP laner just to create a zone so that the mid laner, Faramis, goes forward. Ghost Bursters, baby.
I like that. You know, that's gonna be the official hand sign now for Ghost Bursters. Ghost Bursters, baby. And it wasn't just along with the fact that you mentioned multiple times where you have to fight, lots of healing that you have to get through. They have multiple conditions. It wasn't just all on the Claude, wasn't all on the Faramis, wasn't all on the Angela. It was a lineup that if you really play around your tools very well, anyone at any point can be the carry and the main condition of the sequence.
Yeah, Ramichi was quite a problem in the early stages of the game, and that's the strength of a Martis, right? This is why the Martis was a really strong pick before, and the reason why it dropped off as well. If in the early game you get 2 kills, the game is essentially yours. If you don't get those 2 kills, it's gonna be a bit difficult for you to set a tempo for your team. So honestly, it is about execution as well, right? Having the Martis we haven't seen in a long time, Ramichi played it pretty much to perfection.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen a Martis game like that from the jungle in a while. Again, recently we saw it in the mid lane, throwing back. It was just a lot of conditions sticked really well, and now it felt like VSG, especially with the last 2 picks, with the surprise Faramis on the 4th, with the Benedetta and the Beatrix as the last 2 picks over on the blue side, that at that point was reactionary. Their first 3 picks became, all right, we're setting the tempo. Suddenly, oh, we're up against a Faramis and an Angela. Now we have to be reactionary with the Benedetta and the Beatrix. But honestly, I don't have massive problems with the draft of VSG. It's just that they were outdrafted by Zenith with that 4th pick Faramis out of nowhere.
So game number 2 here, we gotta remember it was a 30-minute game, so it's gonna be mentally exhausting. For game number 2, both teams have to reset very, very fast. Usually my experience, after a very long game, the next one, not gonna be as long.
Yeah,
I'm looking at sub 15 minutes kind of game.
Oh, that's true. That's almost always actually no, I'll just say it's a sure thing when it comes to MLBB Esports. When you have one really long game, the next game is most likely just gonna be half of that time frame. So let's see if that will be the case, as a VSG will try to force Zino Lilies into a tiebreaker later into the day, because these 2 teams, again, they're already secured for the knockouts phase. However, they are going to be fighting for the number 1 spot. #1 seeding in this group. And so far, this series, this matchup has not disappointed. With how they dominated Falcons Mena earlier, we expected, this is going to be a close one. And so far, it is a close one. It's a very entertaining series so far.
Let me just say, we lied. It's not a best of 2. It's a best of 3. First team to win 2 times, they come out as victors.
That's true, yeah.
It's a best of 3.
Yeah, if you reframe it that way, this series is a best of 3. Yeah, no other way to put it, man. You're right.
Thank you very much. So it's really on VSG right now to really push Zino Lilies because, again, it's one of those cheese strats.
Yeah.
Doesn't work all the time. Though we have to say, Zino Lilies, every single game, they really change things up.
Yeah.
So they might prepare, I don't know, 8 strats just for today.
Ooh. I'm really hoping that they continue their trend of surprising with the picks. Because in terms of surprise, so far it's Zino Lilies with the advantage there. The only surprise we've seen from VSG, other than how aggressive they are with the Jushin, is the Benedetta jungle. Now it becomes a question of, is VSG a team that has a lot of surprises up their sleeve? Or are they the type to draft a little bit more towards strong picks that they're used to?
And now we're jumping into draft. VSG is going to be blue side. Zino Lilies is going to be on the red side. Louis banned out here. I believe looking at both games, it's really on VSG to have the respect ban.
Yeah.
Either take out the Turizla or try to first pick it, or take out the Angela, or even ban out the Faramis. Because I believe after that game, Saul might be comfortable just to have a first pick Faramis.
Yeah, I agree with you there. VSG, I'd want to see them also redistribute their priorities instead of prioritizing Minon right away on the Yuzong, considering that they know what Zino Lilies can draft. I think it'll be better if they change their focus towards the mid lane, the roam, and the jungle, and getting their priorities there locked down. They got the roam and mid earlier, but there are power picks in the jungle that they could have picked up earlier instead of that Yuzong. Just a little adjustment from VSG.
So right now, looking at the bans here, VSG banning out the Ling, and Zino Lilies banning out the Jushin. Again, I don't know. I kind of feel like for VSG, try to set up so that you have either a first pick Angela or first pick Turizla. Because I think they really botched the first pick, that's all. Like, a lot of options were open, and they picked up the Yuzong, which might not even be contested. Right? Yeah. So I feel like as long as you get a good first pick, you're actually using the blue side well, because we have to think about the advantage of a blue side. You got prior on the strongest hero.
Yeah. I wonder if VSG, now that they've banned out the Angela, as we were talking about priorities, how about they shake up the priorities in surprise? There have been some teams that considered picking up Faramis early on in the first phase now, in recent months.
The thing is, you can counter it. Like, the likes of the Lapu Lapu, the likes of the Claude, is able to deal. Minotaur first pick. Strong hero, for sure. But again, VSG, I feel like there's a lot of priority heroes.
Yeah.
And they're getting up the Faramis.
Valentina? Faramis? I'm okay with that, because even
honestly, Valentina
would be great. You get the ultimate of the Minotaur. If VSG does decide to pick up the Faramis,
or Turizla,
you're gonna take it, or the Turizla.
A lot of good options for Zino.
Yeah. I mean, it's not completely out there to see a Minotaur first pick, although it is very selective when you go for that. So this Turizla Claude, as you pointed out.
And then they can just pick the mid in the third pick, because if VSG picks up the Faramis, hello, Valentina.
Answer it. Yeah. There goes the Julian for VSG. This is safe to say it is a jungle. I'd want to see them consider floating the idea of putting it in the mid, though. However, if that is going to be a mid Julian, they will need the reach. And reach right now is not that available in terms of the gold laners.
They pick up the Valentina, so they're really trying to ask, Lilith, do you want to pick up the Faramis now? But they could easily just pick up a Farsa.
Oh, yeah? This time, Zenith will have the reach. Because it's very divey on the side of VSG. Okay, they pick up the Hayabusa. Which, somewhat makes sense. Even though VSG are going to be playing around the Minnow and Fury, right? The Hayabusa might be able to find a straggler or two. But right now, this roamer pickup for Zino Lilies later on is going to be crucial. And one of the best things that you can pair up with a Hayabusa, I guess, in this scenario to amp up the process of it being able to farm and be aggressive is something like a Grok, something like a Cho. But the problem is VSG has the Valentina, which sort of makes you think, do we really want to pick those two up? Because we're giving away two really good ultimates.
I like where your mind is at, picking a very aggressive roamer. Again, as a Minotaur player, it's not a good time if people pick on me, right? I don't like to get bullied in the early game.
Yeah.
Late game, you can try.
Yeah.
So if Zino Lilies gets a very good mid trio, they could punish this Minotaur. And we've seen when we're watching Falcons Mina, if the Minotaur is not having a good time, the entire team will not have a good time.
It's gonna struggle. See if that'll be option. Edith gets
Edith,
taken
very
away.
good ban.
Very good.
Very good ban.
A lack of magic damage right now on the Lilies. If ever, ooh, they're gonna be stuck with one magic damage.
What if they
there.
pick up a Zask?
Two singular. I'd want to see AoE instead. But then, oh, again, my mind keeps going back to Valentina will be happy with whose ultimate you get. And if ever a mid lane can go last, I'd want to see a roamer picked up already.
Honestly, even the Ruby is fine-ish. They still respect the Faramis, though. Yeah, I feel like for Rome, there are a lot of options where you want to go a little bit more aggressive. I like the Grok shout-out, but maybe they want a little bit more crowd control here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Ruby. Grok is solid as well, but again, you're going to give a pretty big ultimate. Oh, wait, a Tigreal.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, Tigreal.
But then again, Valen will just steal that. I mean, it's not always that if ever Valentina's there, you don't pick up a hero with a big ultimate. Yeah. At some point, you're going to have to
decide. This Valentina is a problem.
Yeah. And then if it's Purify on the side of the Valentina, then oof.
Yeah. Ruby, yeah.
Ruby.
There you
Great call. Man, on point right now. The Drizzler earlier, now the Ruby. So that should make things a little bit more difficult for the Julian and the Valentina.
I feel carry should be pretty okay here if they want it.
They just need something like with really strong, fast basic attacks to lock down. Earlier was the Beatrix, so yes, I agree with you. The carry would be really good. Because you already have two sources of magic damage. You go physical, good call. Come on, try it. Try to get it. Try to get the last one. Go for it, man.
The Yuzong is still open.
Okay, let's see.
Just saying, the Yuzong is still open. If they want to get it, they can. If not, maybe something like an X-Borg.
All right, that's your two calls. Yuzong and X-Borg. Hold it be.
What? Oh, Arlet.
Okay, Yuzong, X-Borg, Arlot. Pick one, real quick.
Yuzong.
Oh, let's go, bro. I'm thinking maybe Lilia? Oh!
Kagura! It's okay.
I wish they went for a bit of a longer...
No, I feel like it's because of the Valentina, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's because of the Valentina. You're running out of options, so it's like maybe your job is just to handle the carry.
Ooh. All right, LaFell on fire with the predictions today. But has VSG found the right fire to make sure that they will be going into the tiebreakers later again for a chance to secure top one in the seed? Or are the Lilies from Vietnam gonna say, nah, it ends here, no tiebreaker later, and we're gonna secure that top one spot in Group C? My name is Renmar. Again, LaFell is the analyst here. But we're now going to be going to our casters, and let's see if I'll get it right this time. It's Mirko and Naisu. Let's go, boys.
There you go. You got it. You got it, Renmar. Thank you so much, guys, breaking it down. The draft here at LaFell as well. Great calls, man. I feel like, there's a part of, too, LaFell that's happy that Kagura's back on the table. A lot of times we've seen her pop up many times now for these games. And I like what you guys did earlier, too. Saw, dude. Saw, dude. The game that she had earlier was a huge component to that damage potential that we saw earlier. And I think that's also what warranted the ban that we saw against that Faramis. But taking a look at it this time with the lineup here for VSG, we know that you know, if they can get the 1-1 in this series, then we're going to have, of course, that tiebreaker potential there for later on. Which, again, just take note that everybody watching that the tiebreakers are happening on Stream B. There is going to be a Stream B for you guys if you want to watch those. So looking at this, you know, Mirko, what do you think of the lineup this time around for VSG? Is it better for them in this one than what they brought to the table in the previous game?
I would say it's very, very similar, but in a way, yeah, I do like it a bit more. I love the carry. I like the carry way more compared to the Beatrix last game,
yeah,
especially in lane against the Claude, right? Because at least this time on the carry, you have many ways to beat the Claude in lane, get a lot of that kill pressure up top, and you can already see it from VSG, utilizing the kill pressure on the Claude, rotating up top, trying to get that lead to be even bigger as we get into that first neutral objective. But even for the side of Zino Lilies, I feel like they're coming at it with a bit more risk, right? The Kagura pick, yeah. I really like it. The Ruby pick too, great way to actually try to shut down a few of these very short-ranged heroes. Because even Synchro on the Valentina, she's ranged, but she's very short-range. She can actually be punished a lot by the Ruby. But we haven't really been seeing a lot of Ruby roams, huh?
Yeah, it's good to see that. I mean, she works either way, but
yeah.
Also I'm wondering, like, for Synchro, what ultimate is your best option to take here? Most likely, we can even see her take Shiromi's ultimate, the I'm Offended, for setup potential. She actually takes the penalty zone now from Kao. Oh,
Fierce dive, straight into the Petrify, and the penalty zone saw going to be taken out by the passive damage overtime there. And man, holy moly, that was so much sudden damage. Saw dude couldn't really handle that Shiromi back enough as well. This is why the Yuzong is special when it comes to the instant initiations. If you're in range, you're in for a lot of trouble. You're not going to go for the turtle. They're instead going to go for the purple buff. Instead, Gaily right there. Lumichi, Retribution already baited out, so they can go for the turtle for free.
Yeah, just go ahead and take that turtle. They already got the Retribution out. This is going to be objective. So this is a whole lot of good happening in the early game for VSG here. Turtle secured, objective secured, and you know, that had to feel bad for Cal earlier because, yeah, penalty zone was in the hands of Synchro, and she didn't have hers yet. You know, she was still level 3, and she could do nothing but watch as that penalty zone was used. So they'll go ahead, of course, speeding up some of the farming here for Taro. Also taking a look, Fury Hammer now locked in for Michi, still working on these first items to lock into place here. I think also when we talk about it, it looks like the Enchanted Talisman is going to be the first item for Synchro. And when you have to kind of break down the mid laners here, Kagura is still in a position where a lot of teams, you know, they will draft her, they'll pick her. We see our pickup yesterday as well. And the burst is actually pretty good. I think it does pair up well, especially if you can synchronize it with your setups, like the penalty zones or the I'm Offendeds. It's just at the same time, I feel like it's good playing against a Minoyan's Fury, you know, from Gaily here. But the burst damage that comes through it, and also the outplayability, that's what I love about Kagura. The outplayability that her kit brings to the table might be enough for Zino Lilies to kind of rely on, or going back to the question, you know, for Synchro, best ultimates to take. You know, she's got a couple options here across. So I'm not sure if she'll ever take the, of course, the Kagura ultimate, but for the most part, the I'm Offended, the penalty zone will be her go-to. And so once again, the focus on this purple buff, the resources, they want to coke it out. Oh, that I'm Offended is not going to land. So, but penalty zone is held on from Synchro. And this could just be VSG. Again, leading now almost, you know, 1,500 up. Enchanted Talisman locked in, waiting for the objective to pop up here.
Yeah, slowly but surely. Gold difference, you can see right now, it's being held by VSG. And even in the bottom lane, it's completely different from what we saw previously. Previously, it was Kao getting the better of Minion here in the lane constantly. But even in the mid lane, Synchro, you can definitely see how much more comfortable she is on the Valentina compared to the Vexana. Because she is a playmaker. She wants to dash back and forth. Yin Yang overturn. Going to be used up by Sa there, actually, in the mid bush. So a resource already spent, and Synchro can just regen back up. VSG on the turtle, holding it down. Gaily's trying to zone them away as Shiromi looks for an angle. Black Dragon going to be used up right now as Kyoe secures the turtle with a Retribution. That's a penalty zone from Cal, but now gets caught in the penalty zone as well. Good Petrify. Shiromi able to flicker around. Cal not able to do the same thing. Just a few more hits for a minute to get the passive down, but Shiromi will be able to walk away. Ramichi, though, up top. Zoned away from the team. Has the quad shadow. She goes for the farm. Shadow kill even used up. Goes back to the quad shadow. Still sandwiched.
She's sandwiched. I don't think can they actually get a kill under the turret here?
Oh, it's scary. And has Shane knocking her up now into the Yuzong damage, and Kyoe picks her up top.
Good juggle.
Yes, she can.
Yeah, good juggle. Utilizing the lineup that they had. Wow. Okay, Sanko's in again. Not going to be able to kill on Synchro. She is still going to spot them out, but here comes Kyoe. Okay, she just forces her back. But Shiromi.
Good chain. Really good enhanced chain right there to stop anything from happening.
Yeah, Conceal used as well in the exchange. Purple buff is back up, and I think you just see VSG do the same thing. Put pressure there. They're looking to get that tier 1 now on the bottom side. Put the pressure in the side lanes for now. And at the same time, man, I gotta say, this is a much better start, I would say, for VSG than what they had to do in the previous game. And really, you pointed this out earlier, I think it's just so much better, even when you're talking about the gold lane for Rian. She's been able to just farm up and kind of have like a very peaceful time. Taro has as well, but look at the damage difference on the turrets, right? That alone shows that Rian is having a better time pushing this in. They will get that tier 1 down finally. And so that's going to be the first turret now in the hands of VSG.
Well played. Utilizing the siege, utilizing the winning lane so well in game number 2. Now into the mid lane they go. Actually, Yin Yang overturned now. With the Minus Fury, good shadow kill, but not enough damage to take anyone down. Gaily just stops the ground, gets grabbed by the scythe, and will be taken out. Perfect timing. Whoa, that's a shadow kill steal. Synchro is looking for the kills now. Oh, Petrify! And the Furious Diving Lane has chain knockup, and the fadeaway kill with a damage overtime minion. Now with the Black Dragon form, stunning Shiromi, forcing to flicker out. Synchro shadow kill! That's what she was waiting for. Cow getting obliterated in the splash together with the last few hits from Rian. 3 for 0.
3 for 0. And you know what? In the last fight before that broke out, I was like, man, Zino Lilies did so much to set things up. But look at the STC replay here.
Wow.
It's airtime for Namichi, and I mean, she gets thrown in the air, and even the Dragon Form to zone out Shiromi was a great placement, and then they clean it up with Cow. It just seemed like the space that they had to work with for VSG and the lineup that they have, they played it to a T there. So once again, Shiromi's gonna go in with the I'm offended, but yeah, Kyoe, that's the power of the Julian.
Yep.
Go ahead and enhanced out of there.
So annoying. The Julian. Every single time he can really just step out, enhance sword, fool, or enhance chain, fool, or if you're ever, you know, stunned up, enhance sight. That one deals the most damage. That one is a big ouchie. We didn't see that, Rihanna. It's okay.
We didn't see that. Let's take a look at the items here. All right, we got the, now the second item's locked in. Also, speaking of it, you know, Kyoe has the Genius Wand, now the Starlium Scythe. So the power spike is definitely going to be at this point, too, for VSG. And looking at Rihanna, I mean, she's got the Trinity. She's got the 3 items locked in. She went a little more defensive, too. Has the Wind of Nature. But that's enough. I'm offended going to be used again, but then even the response with this, the Flask of the Oasis also just got picked up. And this is what I mean, that mid-game power spike with this lineup. Uh-oh. It takes quite a bit of damage, though.
Whoa, she's still coming back. Minion's Fury gonna be used up. Cow with the penalty zone, not connecting to anyone. Kyoe obliterating that HP bar. Where did she go? Penalty zone from Synchro. But I'm offended, catches them right now. It's asking me Kyoe still in the midst of it all. Dealing some damage. Looking for Taro. She watches there. Good in that scythe. That's a maniac for Kyoe.
Oh, man. I mean, she had some troubles last game. With this game, it's not happening. Locks in the Julian, gets a maniac. We're going to take a look at the STC replay. Talk about a setup here for a success for this maniac. It all broke out in the jungle. They get a kill on Cow, but look at this. Under the turret even. Talk about a play from Gaily. Goes in, jumps in, cleans up. They don't care about the turret. They'll take all of the kills. Huey does it cleanly too. Oh, again, you can see just, you know, the reactions from the players, of course, with that. The getting set up under the turret like that doesn't feel too good.
Yeah, you can definitely see the nod and the smile of like, you got us.
Yeah.
You got us on that one, man.
Well
that was
played.
a good play. Because, man, Kyoe played that so well. Enhanced chain on one. Oh, sorry, the chain on one. Enhanced sword to chase the others. That was beautifully done by Kyoe. And you can see now Rian just reaping the benefits of all those kills. Taking the turrets for free, and this is all without the Lord. It's still down below. It's going to build up quite big into the base turret push right now. And even the VSG, they're doing such a good job at manipulating the waves, because now it's going to be slow push down below, waiting for that 40-second timer, like 10:40, for the next mini waves, and then they're going to have a build-up wave bot with the 2 waves pushing in.
Big waves. Not only that, but also
BW.
Feather of Heaven. Yeah, big W. Feather of Heaven picked up. You thought you got the enhanced locked in more, but now it's going to happen even faster.
Oh, man.
So this is very tough for Zino Lilies. I know, last game we saw, 4 Lords go through, but with this lead that we're seeing from VSG in the lineup that they have, they can actually force a fight here under the turret, and they might actually do just that, depending. Keep an eye on Gaily. How they go and count. Oh, Synchro.
Synchro with penalty zone gets caught by Amafin. Taro able to demolish her in the backline. Gaily with Minus Fury right now. Kyoe still dealing so much damage. Rian is free, hitting in the back. Taro able to escape with the BMI. Ramichi taking a whole lot of punishment just from a fadeaway basic attack of Rian, and that passive ticking down on them. Base turret taken down with the first Lord.
Okay, Zino Lilies, pretty successful. They only lose that 1 turret despite being down by 6,000 gold when that fight broke out. Now down 8,000. So they'll have to go ahead and kind of farm back up again. They don't have anything on the map, guys. Like, they have no turret to work with. They have no turrets down. They don't have any space to make these moves. So what happens for Zino Lilies is they're kind of stuck to play together. They kind of have to just hope that, all right, Taro's going to pop off at some point in the game, especially when she gets the items that she needs. You can see, Saw's still doing respectable damage. But unfortunately, it's just kind of they're outscaled right now in terms of firepower, and even defensively, being able to withstand those forced initiations. We saw Synchro do it earlier with the penalty zone. The same thing can happen with Gaily here with the Minoan Fury. So Ramichi will go ahead, take her time here, because of course, she's just not sure. This is what I was saying, the team kind of has to stay together, and anyone by themselves is at a risk. Oh no. I don't think, okay, she's gonna be fine. Has the quad shatters get out, but just trying to manage the waves. Again, scrape up any farming that you can here, any gold and XP that you can grab.
You're just trying to get, the farm, but this is why, by the way, I think at MSC, Wolf is a big hater of the Assassin plus Claude, because both of them need resources. Both of them need to go for farm, and if you do fall behind, this is why it can be a greedy pick or a greedy choice to go for the Assassin plus the Claude, because now you can see it. Taro's looking for gold, Ramichi's looking for gold as well, and in the end, they're going to have to divide it, and it's going to take them way more time to get online, especially in a game like this. 12-5, Enhanced Lord taken down for free by VSG. They've taken a base turret for free there. And yeah, I mean, it's tough. At this point of the game, 13 minutes, she has the 3-item power spikes. Usually it's like 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even this Saw, like, she gets the Holy Crystal. I was going to say, is she going to lock in another item before this defense? Because right now, she's just got the boots, she's got the Lightning Truncheon, and then she's got Holy Crystal now. So I'm wondering if that's enough even burst to help with this fight. As now the eyes are set here on the top side. They're just forced back, though. Once again, they still have to deal with the Lord. The push there on the bottom side, waiting for these waves to push in. Zino Lilies will go ahead and work it down. It is half health. This might be enough for them to hold on, but the waves now come in. Keep an eye. Dragon Form going to be used.
Flicker into the front. San trying to go for some damage. Jinyang overturned there. Rian able to flicker out. I'm offended to bring them back, and the Furious Die connects, but the penalty zone does too. They're fighting under the base, and they are going to lose their lives. Minion still in the midst of it all. Still Kyoe somehow winning in the fight, going for the few slashes. Kao doing some damage back. Penalty zone to go for the chase. And sword. Kyoe still survives. Rian going for the damage now with the Wind of Nature as well. Forced to back off. There's a quad shadow there, but she doesn't take it. They got 3 base turrets. VSG won that.
Kyoe, I don't know how many times she has done it so smoothly, man.
That was insane.
That was insane. So clean with this Julian. I thought the Benedetta earlier today was clean. This takes the cake for it. This is it. Kyoe on the Julian. Yeah, she is. And man, at the same time, Zino Lilies, they stay in the game, but they lost all their base turrets. And it was more so a decision from VSG to be like, you know what, we'll fight here. But Rian went up, cleaned up the turret on the top side. And at the whole point, Kyoe actually kept the attention of Zino Lilies and just outplayed on the Julian pick. And that's why we were saying, you know, this is such a strong hero with the ability to juke, to bait things out, to just maneuver around these skirmishes and these team fights. I don't want to fight it out.
Yeah, not at the Gaily, right? That's a Minotaur. Riichi now going to be caught by Synchro. Terrified down. Oh, the shadow kill! The assassination! Gaily finds the kill. She waits there onto the last quad shadow.
I said, I don't know what, the quad shadow would work or not, but I'm surprised they went for Gailey in the exchange. And so now they're down the member. I think VSG might just go ahead and run it into base and try to end this one.
No Romichi. So their backline is completely safe. Rian doesn't really need to care. Synchro doesn't really need to care about who can dive back, but they go for the safe route.
Discipline route, yep.
Is obviously going to be the Enhanced Lord. 16 minutes in. That shadow kill, man.
That shadow kill, when you see it happen, you're kind of like, too bad,
I'm the ninja now.
The ninja now. All right, Lord secured here. Zino Lilies, they've been through this multiple times up to this point. We're 16 minutes in, but 3 Lords down already. And they have to just watch and get prepped up for this defense. Because once again, with these items all being pretty much locked in, that was a Winter's Crown 2 actually now for VSG. They're once again going to go for the outplay and just try to punch this one in. It's 4,000 ahead in terms of gold between the junglers here. Absolutely massive game for KOA. Picks up the potion as well. And so they actually still might try to make a play here. Wow, Synchro. Okay, she didn't get the one she wanted, right? No. Lord, though, mid lane, Zino Lilies, are they going to be able to defend this? Can they stay in the game a little bit further? 17 minutes in, Dragon forming to go down.
Great waves as well, placed down. Kao gonna be terrified, taking down a quarter of his HP now. With his Fury knocking up 3 members there. That's gonna be Grumichi completely taken out of the board. Victory song, Gamers equalize. And now there's gonna be a tiebreaker for first place.
The victory song plays loudly in this game at number 2 here. 1-1. Man, what a just adjustment.
Wow.
That we saw from VSG here. What a performance